Last September, Lofton Mason received a tempting offer for a portion of his farmland just outside Jackson. The price was right, and Mason approved of the plans of the prospective buyers, a group of... Over the next 6 months, the group leased the land and began this foundation for one of their buildings. But then last March, a larger contingent of the group turned up, some of them carrying guns. They proclaimed the tract of land the capital of something called the Republic of New Afrika. They raised a flag and stated their purpose: to form an independent black nation in the South. This was the first indication Mason had that his land was to be used as headquarters for what local officials have labeled revolutionaries. Mason hired an attorney who advised him that since the group had not paid full rent or a down payment for purchase, they had no legal right to stay on the land. A local court has enjoined the New Africans from trespassing, but the group still claims a right to the land and will bring their case before a so-called People's Court. Mason is keeping his shotgun handy, but for the time being is letting the law handle his case. State and local officials and police have backed Mason up and are ready to help him defend his land if it becomes necessary. But many people here hope that a confrontation can be avoided, that the Republic of New Afrika will just fade away or locate elsewhere. And not all of these people are white. This is Bill Brannigan, ABC News, near Jackson, Mississippi.
Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Automatic push button remote control, synthetic genetics, command your soul. Driving me nuts, bolt screws. I got the blues from paying dues for program news of honey-coated lies. Your eyes can't believe that we've the devil's magic with the latest gadget from the mean machine. Are running the same game with another name. Down in your brain, blowing your mind, stealing your time, smooth and slick with the latest trick to get rich quick from nonsense at your mind's expense. As your mind digs the scene from the mean machine designed to drive your brain insane. Loudspeakers blasting inside your head, saying what someone else said for you to do what they want you to. No, go, fast, slow, getting you high off the latest lie, telling you when, where, how, and why. As your mind digs the scene from the mean machine, are running the same game with another name. Factories of insanity playing on your vanity as they distort your sense of self, telling you what you need and how to succeed as they steal all of your wealth. Probing your mind, trying to find how to scheme on you best from program schools with devilish rules, putting you through the test. Death-dealing devices sold at high prices, designed with you in mind to buy as they kill you slow. And some of y'all don't even know y'all paying the machine to die. Mechanized lies dressed up in disguise in forms of various kinds. Treachery and deceit the people must defeat in the battle for free men's minds. For complete domination is the goal of this nation, of all free-thinking thought, and those who oppose will be killed by their foes, the flunkies whose souls have been bought. Transplants to revive the living dead, replacing the truth with lies instead.
Well, I recall that they told me they were going to build a clinic, they're going to build a school, and other fixtures. Well, there's going to be also a recreation center that were people maturing in the community would have a chance to go and swim and play and so forth.
We'll make arrests where we see crime violated in our presence. Other than that, we'll travel on court orders, but we do intend to keep the peace into the state of Mississippi.
Somewhere or other, it's got big financing, and it's got connections with Red China and Castro's Cuba. And obviously what they say they're going to do, they can't do. But they're doing something revolutionary, and it should be taken very seriously.
Mr. Mason, does the land in question right now belong to you or to the RNA?
It belongs to me.
How much land is involved?
Approximately 20 acres.
They tried to buy the land from you.
Yes, sir.
How did this come about?
Well, when I first was informed about them, that they were driving up on my premises saying that they heard that I had some land, and actually they had sent somebody, I judged they had sent one speaker to me, asked me about some land. But, well, the fact about it, I got a telephone call and asking if I would sell some land. And I told them I didn't have any land to sell. And they asked me if I would rent some. And I said, well, I'd think it over. He said, well, I'll be out to talk with you. So this party came out and talked with me about renting it. And he offered me a very interesting offer, and I agreed to rent it.
Did they tell you the purpose that they would put the land to?
Coming up to make me very encouraged to let them have it. I thought it had been helpful to both colored and white.
Then what made you change your mind on it?
Well, as I said a while ago, they came out to rent it. Well, after they prolonged the time so, well, it'd go off and come back. They was going along with me approximately about 8 months before the thing came to a close. And after, when they came back about the second time or third time, I told them, I said, well, why don't you just go on and buy it? If you give me a good price, I'll sell it to you, just give you the deed for me. Well, the reason why I had to do that, because the small sum they was giving me for rent, I felt like I couldn't get but a little at a time, and I just thought I'd try to get as much as I could down. It'd be helpful so I could do something with the money. So then that's where I agreed to sell to them.
At the time you sold it, did you know that they were going to form the Republic of New Africa and use that land as their headquarters?
No, sir, I didn't know that.
When did you first hear about that?
During the time, it might have been about a month, a couple of months, 6 weeks, something like that, before I began to, in fact, they put out some papers. Well, the complaint was that I just wanted them to be moved off the land. I wanted them to be moved off the land. At the end of the deadline, which is somewhere along about the last of April, I thoroughly was convinced to the fact that they didn't mean to do what they said. And I was justified also, not only being convinced that they wasn't going to do what they said, but the deadline had passed. A couple of days had passed, and the president called me over telephone and asked me if I had the deed ready. And I told him I didn't have them ready, and I had declined out of selling. He asked me why. I said, well, the main reason is the deadline had passed. And he went on to stand some unpleasant words, and I told him that I've been harassed around with y'all about 8 months, and I'm just fed up and I'm tired, and I don't want to go no further. And he said that he wanted to come out and talk with me, and I was looking for him to come out and talk with me, maybe that night or the next day or something, but I never did see him. I looked for him, and the fact about it, from the words that I wasn't going to sell no way, but from the language he was using, I got a little bit closer to my weapons, looking for him, and so, but he didn't show up. When I got the next news they were down there on the place, on the land. Well, I didn't see them down there, but I was informed that they was down there waving their gun. So I decided it wasn't no need me going down there talking with them, because chances are I might have got hurt down there among that many. So I applied then to the sheriff. And my lawyer and I went and talked with the sheriff. And they wrote up some papers. We went down and looked for them, but they wasn't there.
Well, if they should try to return to the land, what would you do?
Well, if they would try to return to it, I'll notify the sheriff and my lawyer. And I don't know there's nothing I could do unless I was allowed to get a little bit better weapon than I got. I'd like to have a machine gun if I could, but I don't know whether they want me to have it or not. So I know what I'd do if they would let me have that. I was thinking this morning about asking permission to own one while I'm in this category.
What would you do with a machine gun?
Well, I'll do whatever that machine gun would allow me to do.
You mean you would use the machine gun to keep them off if necessary?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that type action will become necessary?
Well, I don't much think so, but I didn't think they'd go down there and go in the place, and I had put up posted sign. I never thought to tell you a minute ago, I had put up posted sign down there, and they pulled that post up, and pushed the post and sign aside. Now, if they did that, and I'd already told them that I wouldn't sell, I don't know what else they might do. So I just like to be like the Bible said, be ready.
Have you had any complaints from any of your neighbors or any members of the community because you had originally intended to sell the land?
No, sir.
Do you condone what the RNA people are trying to do with the land?
Well, I would say yes, sir. I don't approve of it.
That particular land at the moment?
Yes, sir. I have some grass planted on it. Well, really, I had some ryegrass planted on it at the time I allowed them to go in there. And during the time that they went in, my cows was grazing in there, and I'd taken the cows off in order to let them have possession. And I lost the grazing of that. I lost that period of time of grazing with those cows, and also the cow, they kept it so long that I didn't have a chance to fertilize it and make ready to bale hay as I usually do. See, I usually graze on it, and then I pull the cows off it and then cut it for hay. And I lost both the grazing and the cutting of hay. Strange things happening, and I'm already surprised at what they've already done until I'm afraid to say that they won't, but I don't believe they're going back.
Have they made any threats to you of any kind?
No, sir, they haven't. They haven't made any threats to me. The only thing that they made was in the paper, yesterday's paper, and or day before yesterday, I think it was now. And I don't know whether you would call that a threat or not, but he said in the paper that that's where he had it, and I don't think he explained that right, because he talked as if though I had joined him, and he wanted me to come back and said I was a traitor and all that. So I count that was he was throwing a reflection on me to the people in the state of Mississippi. Lots of them know me as a fair deal, and he threw a big reflection on me there.
You mean by saying that you would come back and join them?
By saying that I was a traitor, yes. By saying that I was a traitor. In other words, the way I understand traitor, it was man say one thing and do something else. So that's where I style that he was class.
State and local officials and police have backed Mason up and are ready to help him defend his land if it becomes necessary. But many people here hope that a confrontation can be avoided, that the Republic of New Africa will just fade away or locate elsewhere. And not all of these people are white. This is Bill Brannigan, ABC News, near Jackson, Mississippi.